My name is Lórien Eck. This is my Art with Lórien live in the studio. I'm going to go ahead and just check one thing here and make sure I'm live on 3 platforms today. Hey, hello, hi Svetlana. And it's been, oh, let's just check. Let me fix one thing. Okay. Doop. All right, so we're live, and I'm over on my Art with Lórien YouTube channel here on Instagram, and also on my Facebook personal profile page. It's so great to be back. I had a week off. I had a little pause in my weekly broadcast. That would have been week 13 consecutively. And so I had 12 consecutive weeks of tuning in, sharing what I do, what I am doing, and creating this artwork. The one above me here, that's my monarch butterfly that is now available. It's on my website. And in my new launch, it's the first release in my Flora and Fauna collection, art collection. And this is the second one, and it's a butterfly as well. I'm really loving these, and I've been really just kind of taking a deep dive into the butterfly theme for quite a few weeks now, well, a few months really. I also focus on butterflies in my mixed media art classes that I teach for kids. I have a number of classes I teach weekly, quite full-time, so I'm doing a lot of butterfly theme in there too. So this is mixed media. These are art journal entries, just having so much fun with the theme of metamorphosis, change, transformation, transmutation, all things having to do with change and flying free and kind of riding the waves of change in a very graceful way, just like butterflies do. And I see a lot of monarch butterflies and butterflies as natural fauna here in where I live here in coastal Southern California. So it's just so nice to see them out in real time. And then I'm working on these butterflies. And for those of you who have been on the journey with me, I'm so grateful that you have been here. And my goal is I have a lot of art materials out here, mixed media art materials. I'm happy to share some of the new fun things I'm working with, mostly in my mixed media classes for kids. And the link and all that's in the description to all of these platforms to how to get to me there and, how to enroll kids or learn more about it. But I have some fun ink markers, permanent archival ink markers I'm working with. And I did bring a little fun show and tell. I did bring my Beam Paints beautiful birch paint cookie. I think I was talking about it a few weeks ago, and have shared her work. This woman, Anong, her work of creating paints from scratch, creating beautiful watercolor paints. This I got from her. It's a piece of repurposed birch, and I definitely will be sure to put the link information to her. You can find her on Instagram, Beam Paints. But she makes, this is a mini half pans, and this is a birch, it's called a mini cookie. So see how it looks? It's wonderful repurposed wood, and I'm so excited to be using these a little bit. They're very precious, so I'm being very careful with them. This is a full pan, and she sent a little sample along with a full pan of this wonderful, it almost looks like a Payne's Gray watercolor, little wonderful pan of watercolor paint. These will last a very long time. They're highly saturated, rich pigment, and looks like there's a gold one in here, and that looks to be, I'm sure it's mica, because that's what my mica powders are. So what I thought I would do today, and again, thank you for joining me here. This is my In the Studio live broadcast. I'm not sure how long I'll be on. It'll be under an hour. I'm just going to play it by ear. And I have my acrylic gouache paints. I have this painting, work in progress. My goal is to finish this week. So I'm going to see how much I can get done here today, and then also complete it and start a new painting. And then I will be working on my larger piece here, which is the Hawai'i Ti Leaf, the large painting that these are all sort of building up to. These are all studies, and I'm really, working with this butterfly theme to implement them into this larger painting. So it's a 4 by 5 foot painting. I can't really show you. You can see snippets of it. I can maybe, and actually I have it upside down right now, but this is what it looks like. And that's upside down. So anyway, yeah, so it's been really fun to just, kind of do this, to play with, these are my pigments. I'm using the same 3 colors. And also these awesome acrylic gouache, which are acrylic paints and gouache hybrid paints in little tubes. And I use a matte medium. And I did bring my little spray bottle. This is something I teach if you've ever taken an adult private class with me or anything like that, or any of the workshops or anything. I am a big proponent of having a plain water or solar water, if you want to put this, or lunar. This in the sunlight or the moonlight and charge up your water. And I use this spray to keep the paints activated, to keep the mediums activated, to move paint, to move medium, to move powdered pigments. And then I have my array of brushes and all that good stuff. So I'm drinking some really nice tea today. This is a ginger peach organic blend. It's so nice. So I'm curious if there's anything you'd like to share. If you're live with me, I would love to chit chat. This is also really for me about connecting and not so much blabbing on and talking, but to connect, to share. And there's many things, many goals that this accomplishes for me in terms of making a connection, since I'm still following the stay-at-home order pretty closely in terms of just we are getting out for walks, and trails have been opening up more, so we're enjoying our outdoors time with Moo and just staying active and healthy that way, and but really just not doing any social visits or anything like that. I'm pretty conservative. I like to be healthy, and it's been really just, home sweet home, and just embracing that and leaning into this right now. So it's been quite busy here at Waterfront Studios with teaching. And but this Wednesday check-in has been such a joy for me, and it accomplishes the goal. At least one minimum is to make the connection and to be here, even if you catch this on a replay. Everything is archived. I archive these videos, saved for a couple of weeks over on Instagram, but they're all over in my YouTube channel. So if you want to catch the replay or see how I make these paintings. This one I did start, and I'm going to finish it. So I did show from the start how I put the background in. So yeah, that's just a little bit of background, and welcome. Another thing I wanted to share that I brought out today were these things. These are by a company called Faber-Castell. They are called gelatos. They are highly pigmented kind of paint sticks. And these have been really fun to play with. I mostly use them in my mixed media teaching and just for fun art journaling. But they are paint sticks. They're kind of, I think they're kind of oil based. They're water soluble though, so I wouldn't say they're oil based, but they're water soluble, and they have a paste element to them. So anyway, these are new to me, and I thought I would bring out working with the palette that I am now, which is this orange palette. I thought I would, oops, bring out a selection of these and share them. I brought out this one, this one, this one, this one, and the white and the green. And these are really fun. These are something new. They're paint sticks. I just thought I'd give them a whirl because I am teaching so much, and which I love teaching kids, but I have to sort of have things to experiment with and see if I want to share those with the students. And so these I got, and I do enjoy them. They're very different than, they're like pastels. They are in plastic though, so that's the one thing that I wish was different about these. They could be in like some kind of a more sustainable packaging, but I really like the way they blend and move around. So I brought these out just for fun. And let's see, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I'm gonna probably be on, I don't know, somewhere under 1 hour, maybe 40 minutes today. So maybe another 30 minutes at the maximum. And I can bring this down a little bit, show you my work. That's what I'm working on here. And my goal is to finish this butterfly. I have the leaf still. I have more of bringing in the darks and lights and bringing in this contrast to the body of the wings of the butterfly. I will be doing some mixed media applications on this piece. So if I don't get to finish it live with you, or at least document it in these videos, you will see a finished painting at some point soon. And it'll also be over, I'm sure I'll post a lot of things on social media, but also be on my website, and I can put a link for that in the description to this as well. So I welcome any questions. If there's anything, if you're tuning in live and like to say hi, hello back, and otherwise I'll just be checking the chats, and I am going to start, oh great, I'm going to start painting right now. So, all right, have a cup of tea. I'm listening to some really nice Beethoven. And yeah, happy summer. So we did, since I've seen you here, since I've broadcasted live, we have had a summer solstice. You can actually come in with a paintbrush and move these paint sticks around as well. They're pretty fun. I think if anything, they'll be portable, and just another fun tool to work with. You know, see how it goes in terms of sustainability. But I like to try new things out when I learn about them too sometimes. So, okay, I'm going to work with my darks a little bit more, and so I'm just gonna put down here, I'm gonna show you, I'm just putting down some of this. Is a burnt sienna, I believe. What is this? Yeah, generally what I wanted to use. This is a burnt sienna. It's a really nice reddish brown. It's a warm, what I would call a warm brown. And I am just gonna get a little bit of water. I have my paper towel here. And everything but the gelatos are listed in the description as far as what I like to use, what my recommended art supplies are, if you're following, if you're taking a look at this for, you know, a tutorial standpoint. So I'm just doing a little bit more detail on the legs of the butterfly, the body of the butterfly. And yeah, I'm curious to what's new with you, what you're making, if there's anything new going on in your world as far as creativity is concerned. Creativity is such an amazing resource that we have, everyone has inside. It just needs to be expressed. So, and I'm a big believer in just make something. It's really not even about, oh, it has to be painting. This is what I like to do. I'm enjoying more drawing lately. I'm teaching more drawing classes, which is out of my comfort zone, to teach how to draw faces and things like that. That's a challenge point for me. So if you do drawing, I love to paint. I love to do mixed media most of all. And I'm really, really liking mixed media journaling, art journaling. Okay. And then these paintings are always mixed media. Most of my work professionally and all that is always mixed media. So, oh, I see. I missed a little part there. Okay. So I'm just putting in a little bit of these kind of darker marks. I'm doing some mark making and I can hold it up. So I'm just like defining the outer, the dark burnt sienna, which is like a burnt orange. It's a very lovely brown. It's a warm brown. Cool brown would be something more like raw umber, which is a little more greenish, yellowish. Or a raw umber. Yeah, raw umber. There's a couple of umbers, but this is burnt sienna. Yeah, so let's see what else. Let me see if you can see me here. There we go. Okay, and I'm going to get, I think, some of my yellow. So I'm going to put this brush to the side and get a yellow. I'm working with, and I have been working on this painting quite a lot with a permanent yellow deep. Permanent yellow deep. It is a beautiful kind of gold, it's like a very gold color. Very sunny, like a sunflower, but not lemony. It's a warm yellow. So I'm gonna work with that. And I'm not really diluting it. I'm putting it on full strength. So I have a dry brush. So if you paint and you know what I'm talking about, I have a dry brush. I like to mix optically as well. Optical mixing is when you use a brush directly on the canvas or surface or substrate to mix your paints. I'm not mixing on the side separately in a palette to get a color. I'm optically mixing, so just directly on the canvas. And okay. And these are pretty, these colors are pretty, you know, just direct. They're not, I did mix a tiny bit right now of the burnt sienna and the yellow because it's so cool. But I'm using mostly straight out of the tube. That's what I mean by direct. I'm not doing too much palette mixing or tones, tint, shades, or anything like that. And this is actually very, you know, I would say it's kind of graphical, like abstract. In other words, it's not very, this isn't photorealism. That's not my style anyway. But I'm just putting down a lot of texture, and I want to keep it loose. So I'll hold it up and show you what I've got going on here. So here's where I'm at. And I'm going to continue to work on this butterfly. As you can see, whoops, I have this lower section here. What? Oh my goodness, over here. And those white marks here are all of my Stabilo All, I think, or they're actually Caran d'Ache white water-soluble art pencils. And those art pencils turn into paint. They're water soluble, and I love them because they are just going to absolve into my painting. They're not going to resist the paint. And as a matter of fact, if I took a wet brush and go over it, it would just kind of erase. So oops, and that dripped a little bit. So let me get that. That was wet paint. Yeah, so that is the drawing, the under drawing for my like the leaf or the the flora that this butterfly is hanging out on. So now I'm just running in here with these paint sticks. This is a color, oh my goodness. This is a color called Peach. It's called Peach. And I'm just bringing it in for detail. I mean, I love mixed media, so I'm just seeing what it'll do. This is really also about experimentation. And so just coming in like this, and I'm going to let that kind of hang out for a minute. I'll show you what it looks like. It adds a lot of fun texture, but I'm probably going to end up blending it in and turning it into paint. See that? It's those more peachy textured marks. So this is, I'm doing some mark making right now. And I love this background. It's very marble-y, so I'm going to leave the background as is. I think I'm going to get my green now. Whoops. I'm going to get my green now. And I'm mixing the green with some yellow and with the burnt sienna. I'm going to start with this green. This is called permanent green. It's like it says middle, whatever that means. But it's basically like a very grassy green. It's a cool green. And I'm going to, this is a very fine, this is a nice pointy kind of script brush. This is a very, I don't even know, I can't see the number on it anymore. Oh yes, it's an 8. So this is okay, I gotta change my water out. Okay. Let's see here. So I'm gonna, oh, it's very bright. Oh, look at that. What happens if I mix some yellow? So now it's making more of a kind of mossy green. I don't know about that. Yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna put it down. If I don't like it, I can always go over it. So I'm just now putting in some of this. This is drying. I'm letting this settle. And this is what I teach with the kids too. I really try to emphasize when you're working on an area, especially in my watercolor painting classes, if you're working on an area and you want it to dry, and instead of like watching the paint dry, literally, just watching it, I encourage as a best practice to just go work on another area, and then you forget about the paint drying, and next thing you know, your paint's dry because you're over here in a different section. So what I'm doing now is just going right over that Caran d'Ache white water soluble, and it's my marks, my drawing of this foliage, and I'm not sure what this foliage is going to be. I have to kind of play around with it. It's going to be very subtle actually, but I'll show you what I have. And so I'm just going right over with a fairly small fine point brush right over those white lines, and then if I want to change anything I can. They were all just basically guidelines, and this is the first pass. Whoops. Okay, and I've got to fix that leg now. So all these things need to dry. I do work with a hair dryer, or what's called heat setting. You can also use what's it called? An embossing tool, heat setter. I mean, a hair dryer works great. I use a hair dryer, but if you want to speed up the drying process. So I'm going to get a little bit more of my burnt sienna here. Yeah, okay. And then I'm going to show you what I have. I'm going to hold it up and show you my lovely green leaves, which I will probably be changing. I'm going to play with that a little bit. And you'll see when I'm done with this painting the final product and what I decided to do. Okay, so here's my little legs of the butterfly. Okay, so here's what I've got going on. Like so. So I just painted in that green area at the bottom that's kind of shiny down there. Right there. There it is. And that's what my butterfly has landed on. That's the flora to the fauna. So fauna is the wildlife, and the flora is the nature, and they make up the ecosystem altogether. And the flora comes from the Greek word for it's like the goddess of flowers. So, and then fauna comes partly, both Latin actually, Latin language. Fauna comes also from faun, and that's like the fairy folk. So let's see, coming up, doing that, and I'm just, you know, just kind of putting in some interesting lines. I don't know where this is going. I'm playing around. Okay, so what is next? More of this burnt sienna. That is what's next. And I'm just I'm doing some loose lines that are going to go around each of these butterflies. These are the markings on the butterfly. Yeah, that was interesting. I'll see if I end up keeping that. Okay. Let's see. A new paper towel here. Oops. Oops. Okay. So, alrighty. I don't know if I'll be keeping those dark marks. They're probably going to get blended in. But alright, and I definitely won't be running my hair dryer with you here. This is what it looks like. It's a small travel hair dryer, and this is another awesome tip I teach my students, to have a little hair dryer at the ready for just to speed up the drying process, especially with mixed media art. I've used it a lot in my large paintings, a lot, to do all kinds of cool stuff with hair dryers. You can move, paint around. Okay, so I'm gonna just come around here with these dark burnt umber marks. However, I'm not gonna keep them. I'm gonna blend them in. Okay, just for some optical mixing. All right, so I'll hold up what I have. I like to show you as I'm going along. And okay, so here's what I have. Look at that. Okay, so I just put these in. I put these marks in around the markings on the butterfly, and I like how it's coming together. And then I did also work on the foliage, which is also known as the fauna, for this butterfly to be sitting on there. It's resting and landed on there. So, you know, as you know, butterflies are pollinators as well. Okay, and I haven't come up with a title for this one yet. This other one behind me is called Monarch, but I haven't come up with a title for this painting yet. So I'm open to suggestions if you have, along the theme of butterflies. If you have any ideas, I'd love to hear them. And yeah, so fun. Okay. So it's about 3:30. I will stay on here just a little bit longer. Okay. Ooh. So now I am kind of blending out those gelato colors. And oh, what I like to do is use either a wet or clean brush, or both actually, to do some fun blending and kind of smoothing and softening. And so I'm going to get that now. And I'll see, this is my water. It's not really functional anymore. It's all pretty muddy. So I'm going to put those off to the side and get a clean brush. I'm going to use, I love using round brushes. So I'm going to use this round brush right here. It's a nice fluffy one. it's a large brush. I don't even know the number. It doesn't have a number, but I'm going to come in and get a little bit of the spray bottle water on it because my water is too dirty. Another thing I like to do is keep my brushes clean and uncontaminated with dirty water. So it just depends. Like sometimes I like to have, well, I always like to have 2 cups, one for cool colors and one for warm colors. If I, remember to do that, which I have been lately. But I want to keep these colors pure and not put this water on there. So I'm using this little spray bottle here. And I could also just go directly on the painting like that. These are water activated paints because they're all water soluble. So I'm just going through, doing a little bit of spraying. You can find these bottles at the drugstores. This was a CVS purchase. They'll last a very long time. So just like blending what I had in there. I put I have a couple things going on here. I have the dark burnt sienna around my markings. And then I had that gelato peach. So those are all kind of blending now. And this is won't be finished right today with you or on this live broadcast, but it will be finished soon. I look forward to sharing it. And I just really want to, get closer to the finish line here. So just coming around, going on each one of these little guys. I also like to use my fingers a lot in my painting process, creative practice. And I do want to keep some of the texture of these gelatos, but I don't know if I'm going to use any more either because I know they're color fast. I know they do have an archival quality to them, but I just want to keep it with the paints. So I'm going to probably move over and shift over to my matte medium and powders, mic powders. So that is something that's going to be happening momentarily. What else? So yeah, these brushes are starting to accumulate, my dirty brushes here. Okay. And if you don't want something on your paper or on your canvas, you can always take your finger, wrap it in a paper towel, tissue or Kleenex or a rag, and just, kind of wipe it right off. So there was some things I didn't like happening here. So I'm going to come in and just, while they're wet, because acrylic does dry and it dries quickly, it's a water-based plastic polymer paint. So I'm just also coming in and kind of blending out what doing that. Yeah, so it feels like more people are out and about. Things are kind of opening a little bit. I know that. And for sure, we all know that things are opening up depending on where you live, but things are kind of opening and people are more out and about now, and I'm glad to know that. And I will be continuing to do these until further notice. I know that there's 1 week I'll be teaching. I do have a camp that I'm going to do on a Wednesday at this time, 3 p.m. Pacific, but I'll always post, keep you updated on my social media, these channels, definitely Facebook and Instagram if there's any changes to this schedule. I love coming on though, as consistently as possible, 3 o'clock Wednesdays in that specific time. So yeah, okay, I'm going to put these to the side because I don't think I'm going to be using these much more right now. Okay, so I'm going to hold up what I have. It all needs to dry a little bit. And before I move forward, this needs to be smoothed out. Okay. And there's some work that needs to happen here, actually. The head of the butterfly, something has to happen there. I'm just making it darker. Okay. I'll hold up what I'm doing. So, ooh, boo. Hold on. Ah. So I'm working with the spray bottle and not my water cups. Okay. And I'm not going to hold it up because there's a lot of wet water. It's going to drip and make a big old mess. So I'm going to hold back from that. And maybe you can see this way. Anyway, so yeah, I look forward to sharing this completed painting very soon. Okay, so what I'm doing now is just a little bit of dark. I added, so I'm doing a little bit of shading here. And here comes the moo. Here comes the moo. You want to come say hi? You want to say hi? Oh, thank you. Maybe I can get her to come up. Come here. Can you come up? You look excited. Are you out in the sunshine? Can you see her? Oh, there she is. There's the baby girl. Can I get you up here? Can you come up here? No, come up. Jump up. Come up, you. Come up. Were you playing? It sounds like you were playing with the game outside. Isn't she sweet? Yeah. Come here. Jump up. Come up. Oh, banana. Okay. Oh, look. That's a pretty girl. Say hi. Hi, everybody. I'm Moo. I'm Canine Good Citizen. She passed her test. She's a Canine Good Citizen, aren't you? Did you do training? Did you do training and pass your test like a good little mouse? Yes. Yeah, she's gonna go drink some water. Are you thirsty? Were you playing with the toy? Oh my goodness. we did the testing for the AKC Canine Good Citizen back in, before the pandemic, back in January. So she got her diploma, and yeah, I can share that later too. Okay, so I've got to get this while it's wet, and then I'm gonna oh, that's gotta be repaired there. So this is a really interesting painting. It's taking some interesting directions today. I look forward to finishing this one. Okay, and I'm not gonna hold it up because I know it'll drip. So I'll just have to. Okay. I'm happy with parts of it. Some need a little bit of work in terms of refinement. So yes, I would love to hear from you. If you'd like to leave me any messages, chats, or anything like that, I'll be on here about 5 more minutes today. Just feels like the right thing to do. I'm looking forward to having a few guests from time to time, probably a single guest at a time, in the near future. So that'll be fun. Oh, okay, that's interesting. No. Okay. And, yeah. Ooh. Okay. It's really interesting here. Okay, so I think I'm going to stop about here. Although I do want to bring in some of my powders, just a little bit of powders before I wrap it up. So I'm going to clear a little bit of space. I've got a lot of stuff here I wanted to share with you today. These wonderful beam watercolors, all the way from Canada, First Nations territory in Lake Huron in the Northern Territory there, and love those so much. They're really beautiful. Okay, I'm not using them on this painting though. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is mix a little bit of this matte medium. I'm going to turn my palette around, and I just put a little bit of matte medium. I'm going to get a sip of tea. This is so good. It's a peach ginger with some honey. And I'm going to put in this kind of lovely gold. Oh, yeah, this needs some work here. So I'm going to get, oh, that's right. This is so critical. Using a palette knife to bring out the color. And reason being, this stuff can fly everywhere. It's not good to have it flying around or get off into the air. You know, it's dusty. It's mica powder. So it's a very fine powder. Okay. So it's like I'm making my own little paint here. Shh. Oh, something happened. Shh. I don't know what that was. Something got her attention. Okay, it's very windy outside. All right, so I'm going to get, I don't know what's going on with this girl. Momo, what are you doing? I'm going to get a nice, I do like these brushes. These are Filberts. They have an angle. I have a couple of them. This is a very flat one. It's an angular shader. I really like these brushes. So I'm gonna get a little bit of this on here. And there were some areas that were a little too dark. So I'm just playing around with this. I don't know if I'm gonna keep it. But it's interesting. It's interesting. Okay, we'll see how it goes. Maybe I won't even use that many mica powders in this painting. It's hard to tell what's going to end up happening. It's all about experimentation for me sometimes. Okay, so let's see here. Well, I will sign off in a few minutes. I look forward to, I'll be checking in next week, 3 o'clock. Hopefully this painting will be done and I can show you. That's the goal. And then we can move on to something else. Please let me know if you have any questions or anything you'd like to know about my creative practice or what I'm doing, or be sure to check out all of I have a lot of videos over on my YouTube channel. I have archived videos. Yeah, we have some noise interference here. I have videos all going back for years, even in my YouTube channel. I started in 2016, so there's lots to see over there, tutorials and things like that. You'll see a lot of different playlists and things. But yeah, this has been so wonderful to check in at the very minimum. Say hello, and let's see, if it's not too drippy, I can hold it up. Yeah, it's not very wet. So here's where I'm going to end today. I feel like I made some progress. I've got the flora and fauna going in here. See that beautiful green? At the bottom, I'm going to be working with this, continuing to play with the wings of the butterfly, adding mixed media elements. Let me put it down flat. I don't want it to drip. Putting in darks and lights, continuing with textures, and all of the different tools that I like to use. So everything, if there's anything that you want to know about what I'm using or how to support this work, everything is in the description, and my website is there. And it was so lovely to check in. And I am going to sign off now. Thank you for joining me with art here at Waterfront Studios, Art with Lórien in the studio live. And I hope you're having a wonderful day and have a great week, everybody. All right. Thank you so much. See you in the studio.